right, back here on One Bills Live. Chris Brown, Steve Tasker with you, and time for our From the Armchair segment presented by Raymore and Flanagan. Raymore and Flanagan, a proud partner of the Buffalo Bills, and here to do the honors is a guy that probably enjoys an easy chair every now and then. It's former Bills center Mitch Morse joining us here, also host of the Monday Mornings with Mitch podcast. Here to talk about Bills, Browns, and very festively adorned here for the holiday season with his Santa cap. Did you pick that up yourself, or did your lovely wife purchase that for you?
I think you know the answer to that,
okay,
Chris. My wife does everything in this house worth doing, and God bless her for it. It's one of the many things that I'm thankful for on this Christmas season.
Very nice. How thankful were you that the Bills squeaked out a victory in Cleveland?
How about that for a segue?
It was, you look at the analytics, and the game didn't look close, but it was close.
Yeah, well, you're also looking at this rally cap because I put this on, and the boys started figuring out. What's interesting in this league is that there are no easy wins. I came leaving that game more surprised that Cleveland hadn't won more games than the Bills keeping it that close with Cleveland. In the end, a win's a win. It wasn't sexy. There were a few guys who I thought played well. I mean, James Cook is continuing his historic season. And listen, it's another step in the right direction at the end of the season.
There seemed to be, and understandably so, a very focused game plan on not letting Myles Garrett wreck the game because he has the capability of doing that, as we all know. And it was a team effort, to no one's surprise. I know we talked even a little bit with you about this last week, how you have to have extra hands on Myles Garrett if you're going to control him, because blocking him one-on-one is a near impossibility. So what did you think of the efforts there on Sunday?
I thought the efforts were tremendous. Listen, we talked about it. Like you said, you watch any bit of film on the guy. He is a generational talent, an amazing football player, a guy who's chasing a record with plenty of games left to make it. And the Bills, you could see they had a game plan. They executed it. Of course, Deion Dawkins deserves his flowers, especially coming off of flu, losing all that weight, flying around there, competing. I think that was the biggest thing we saw. Was we knew it was going to be a competition. There were times where he had to block him one-on-one, and he did that beautifully. But what the guy I think that lost a little bit of the limelight in this whole thing was David Edwards, because what they were able to do with David was overset with Deion or set him wide to mitigate the speed. And then David was there seamlessly, flawlessly. So you could tell they had hammered it. They had practiced it 1,000 times. I'm sure they thought about it when they were going to bed. There's a few of those players you think about that don't keep you up at night per se, but you're thinking about it outside of the building. And they executed it beautifully. Of course, the run game was going well. They actually dropped back pass a lot more than I thought they would. Didn't seem to matter. The guys played excellent football.
One of the things that happened early in that game, the Bills brought some pressure, and they do that sometimes, particularly when they're trying to generate a pass rush, particularly against a young quarterback. They brought pressure a couple of times, and the Browns got them with screen passes and nicked off big plays. How much does that scare off a defensive coordinator to, like, listen, we're not bringing pressure if they're going to kill us with it? They did it twice. They were spread out opportunities. How does that change game plan? How does that change the game plan for the defense when they get you when you do try and make something happen?
Yeah, I was one of those things that kind of reiterated what I was saying earlier, which was I just think the Browns are a better football team than their record. That's what I got from that. The defense, the mind of the defense in the Buffalo Bills is shared by a few other teams, and that is historically we're going to stop the run on the way to rushing the passer. You're going to get screened every once in a while, and there's a few times those are going to be big hitters. But if you let that deter the way you play, which is aggressive, and it was the way that these guys were playing, and that's why they got screened on, that's going to happen. And I think, you could talk about eye discipline, all this stuff. Like sometimes it was just two really good play calls at pivotal moments when they got the defense at the exact right opportunity. I'm sure it's something that they will hone into. I'm sure it's in the back of the minds of the guys. But if you let that deter the way you play, which is fast and aggressive as hell, then they win. And this defense has just adopted a personality of its own these last few weeks. Yes, the run game is still a thing that we're working on, but I like where this team's going.
What can you say about the way a handful of veteran players turned back the clock on Sunday. I mean, making game-changing type plays, and it wasn't just one or two guys. There were like three or four.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I call it the life alert squad. Like the guys who the older crew in the building, they played admirably, man. I think you just look at statistics. You don't even look at the game. You just look at statistics. You see a guy like Jordan Poyer light up the stat sheet. Tackles, sacks, interceptions, and you have a guy like Matt Milano who's continuing to play like we had talked about these past few weeks. You have Joey Bosa, a decade in the league, tipping it to Daquan Jones in his 12th year with his first career interception. Your big players who have been around for a bit or have been around the league for a bit, those are the guys you want to lean on because they know how to play consistently. They know how to not only fix things that need to be fixed, but also hit their stride and see it later in the season. And that's what we saw. Just guys playing beautiful football, especially well into their 30s, which fires me up a little bit.
So last night, the final gun of the 49ers-Colts game, the Bills make the playoffs with the Colts loss. I'll ask you, 2 games left. This much of a chance to win the division, mostly because the 2 division teams that the Patriots have to play are on fire and leaking oil, and they're
playing third-string quarterback.
They're playing third-string quarterback. So the chances is only this much. How do you handle the last 2 games if you're the Buffalo Bills, knowing you need to be healthy and fresh when the playoffs really begin, as opposed to maybe keeping your chances for the slim hopes of the division title alive?
Right, which is a good point, Steve. You still attack it like there's something to go after because there absolutely is. You never know. It's the NFL. It is the league of parity. So who knows what? You can't control that. All you can control is coming in as a professional, doing what you know you need to do, which is attack these next 2 weeks. You have a very formidable opponent coming in, and then you have a team that you said's on fire a little bit. But that's okay. Like they can still squeak out wins. You can use this as a lightning rod, as a catapult, a trebuchet into effective and efficient football going into the playoffs. And yes, you could be road warriors, but I feel like that's an adopted thing that these guys have, which is every year, especially this year, we've heard all the negative stuff about what we can and can't do, but yet here we are having an opportunity to play in the playoffs. Like, just take it one day at a time, see what happens. I know it's the biggest coaching cliche you've ever heard in your entire life, and it's beaten through us with a hammer, but it's around for a reason.
All right, so week 17 here, and the Eagles come in defending Super Bowl champs. They've had their own share of difficulties through the course of the season, and sometimes you see this with defending champs. Maybe it's harder to dredge up the hunger because you already got a trophy in your case. But what is it that you would say impresses you the most about this Eagles team?
Wow. I would say their physicality. Right, like they're a physical team that prides themselves on how they play up front. They've invested quite a bit of capital and draft picks into those guys, and yeah, it's kind of weirdly similar and parallel into all the stuff that people have had to say about what they can and can't do, and yet they squeak out wins. They blow teams out. They're just physical up front. They have an incredible rushing attack, and they got those players that are eye candy off the screen. I mean, you have Saquon Barkley, you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, all these guys. I know there's been a narrative that they can't pass the ball, but you can fool me, man. Like these guys can be explosive when they want to, and they can be hard-nosed when they want to, and they know how to win. They know how to win the big ones, and they know how to play incredible football, especially late in the season.
Give me an idea of how the Bills stack up. Certainly their run game is something they can lean on. Their guy is leading the league in rushing now after 16 weeks, and they've got the defending MVP. How does this offense attack a defense that's getting Jalen Carter back on the lineup? They're good outside on the edges. What do you think? What's this game going to look like for the Bills offense?
The thing that I would do if I'm the Bills offense is, of course, pound the run game, but try to dominate the time of possession, right? Get in a flow, get these guys tired. You have a guy like Jalen Carter coming back who might not be in football shape that he was when he was out. Yes, you have tremendous football players in that defense, but you also have weapons on the other side that also kind of feed on finding the groove of the game. So if you can kind of mitigate their time of possession, but also kind of keeping the ball out of their hands, meaning turnovers. It's just going to be a hard-nosed fought game. I could see this game not lasting very long in regards to both teams trying to effectively run the ball, but it'll be fireworks regardless, dude. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. I'm kind of expecting a little bit of a rock fight in this one because I think both teams are going to try to run the ball.
Week 17 in the NFL, it's a beautiful thing to see. It really is.
Mitch, thanks for the time as always. Enjoy Christmas with your young family, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Merry Christmas to you folks. It's a blessing to work with you guys once a week. I'll talk to you later.